Well, hello. I want to welcome you to another exciting episode of Pens in Use. This is the show where I talk about the fountain pens and inks that I've been using throughout the week. And this week I'm doing it live. I had a fun trip to the DMV today to get my driver's license updated with the new requirements for, let's just tip this a little better, driver's license requirements with the whole birth certificate and all that stuff for the true ID. And I had to go to Dickinson, North Dakota, which is 90 miles away. So it was a 180-mile round trip. And I only had to wait about an hour at the DMV. So yay, that was a great use of a day off. All right, enough creepy expressions. Let's talk about the pens. So I have had some complaints about these live streams. And by the way, I'm doing this as a live stream mostly because I want to go to bed after this. I don't want to edit the video, so I thought it'd be kind of fun to just experiment with live streaming and try some different things. I've got a different light up there, and I've got my lights repositioned with the live stream. So I just thought it'd be fun to experiment a little. And I also changed the positioning of the tripod. Of course, with live stream, I'm stuck with only one camera, so there is that to deal with. But let's just see how this works. Of course, as always, with the live stream, boink, growth. Hey, 6 people watching. Not bad for an unannounced live stream. From left to right, let me just, and I won't be able to see comments for a few minutes here. But from left to right, I have my Senator President. It looks totally backwards on my screen, but I got to remember it's not backwards for you. This is the one that led to some controversy last week and my arrest. Lamy 80, a Stipula Etruria, an Aurora DuoCart, Salz Conqueror, Soviet EXC, it's a Soviet pen from the 1980s, a Esterbrook SJ, Kaweco Dia 803/07, Platinum Procyon, and a Lamy 2000. As always, I'll be recording my impressions, my writing samples in this Bomo art journal. And this is where I'm going to experiment with the new settings and see how this works for writing, because the big complaint was, you're not close enough. So let's see how it works. Oh, and a little surprise for later in the video, because I did get something good out of Dickinson. DMV wasn't good. Not impressed with the DMV. So let's see about dropping down just a little bit, the way I do when I film with the regular camera. Because, of course, when I live stream, I can't use my regular camera because it's not compatible with live streaming. So there's a bit of a close-up. We'll see. So my first pen is my Senator President. Last week I did a little bit where I pretended to be arrested by both Nancy Pelosi and Donald Trump. Wow, that is so blurry. I think that's too close for that camera's autofocus. Let's see if I can bring this up a little, because I also want you to see the pen. All right, so I did a bit last week where I pretended to be arrested for the... Oh, seriously, dude? Try this. There we go. That's the ticket. So anyway, did a bit because of the Ukrainian writing on it where I pretended to be arrested by both Nancy Pelosi and Donald Trump. And, you know, this is actually Ministry of Coal. So let's see how it writes. So close-ups may be something to work on. And by the way, for anyone who is interested in doing video, if you use an autofocus, it likes to have some, oh shoot, date, October 18th. Autofocus often likes to have something to focus on. And I'm already feeling like this webcam's autofocus may be too sensitive. So this is my Platinum President. So let's put it down here so we don't mess with the autofocus as much. And I am actually thinking about, if I keep doing these live streams, a different option. Wow, that is just disappointing, at least on my screen. I am thinking about a different option for cameras. So Platinum President, the ink in it is, gotta think here for a minute, Diamine, Autumn Oak. How's that? Okay, Compromise, Autumn Oak, which is a very beautiful ink, if I do say so myself. I do the cross-hatching because it shows a little bit the shading that the ink is capable of, or not capable of, as the case may be. I see I'm up to 10 viewers. Oh, Gerald Taylor. Beautiful. I got to enlarge my screen a little. I can't read the comment. I actually can't see the whole word there. Oh, beautiful ink for an awesome dude. Well, thank you very much. Like I said, I'm experimenting with this live stream. I'm not sure how thrilled I am yet. I didn't have these autofocus troubles when I was further away from the pen. But anyway, you can't improve unless you experiment. This next pen is let's get this out of the way, Lamy 80. Gerald Taylor, by the way, is actually responsible. He probably doesn't know this, but he's responsible for convincing me to buy a modern Parker Duofold, which I do like very much and will probably reappear on this channel very soon. So anyway, this is a vintage Lamy 80, probably from the 70s. Has a double broad nib. Wow, the autofocus hates this. Come on. Come on, autofocus, cooperate with me. There we go. Lamy 80, double broad. The ink in it, which I'm going to try not to misspell, La Couleur Royale. Oops, let's finish that name down here. Which, you know, can probably guess means royal color, because apparently purple used to be the royal color. It's a Noodler's ink, which I think I forgot to say. I think it's a very attractive bluish purple. I like it very much, and I've used it in a number of pens. I think this pen, it really shows off the best of any that I've used so far. All right, so learning how to do this autofocus thing. This is my Stipula Etruria Magma something or other edition. I'm going to have to cheat and look what ink is in it. But this is one of those pens that has been, let's just say, a little tough to love. It has not cooperated terribly well, but I'm having decent success with the ink that's in it right now. So I was up to 10 viewers. I'm down to 7. Probably because this is a fountain pen video. I'm just going to write Stipula Etruria. I don't feel like writing its whole name. I did write its whole name in the video description if you're into that kind of thing. And of course, the ink, or the nib, is a T-Flex, which has failed to impress me, but I will say this. Replacing the feed in it did a lot. Gerald Taylor says every Stipula he's ever owned has given him grief, and he's not a fan. Yeah, I don't blame you. I was looking briefly at a Stipula the other day, and then I remembered the trouble I've had with this one. I thought, nope, not going to give myself that kind of grief. I'm going to save it for pens that can love me back, like some of my vintage pens. But like I said, I've had good luck. The ink in this is Iroshizuku. Oh, I didn't leave myself enough room for the swatch there. Fuyu-syogun. Which I'm sure has something to do with winter. It's just a glorious black, gray. And I notice I just bled a little bit of the Couleur. I don't speak French, I'm sorry. The Couleur Royale into it there. But yeah, this is just a very nice dark gray, which I think is suitable for the time of year. We're heading into fall here in North Dakota because, yeah, I live in North Dakota. Sorry. And the nice days are ending. In fact, from the weather, wow, that's blurry. From the weather report, it looks like today may be the last of the nice days. Let's just see what this does. If you have nothing else to focus on, what do you focus on, camera? Your hand? Okay, it likes my hand. Okay, acts quite differently from my camcorder. Not impressed by that. MS Jen Wingo says, Autumn Oak reminded me of Colorverse Martian, which is a current favorite of mine. I've never used that. I do actually have, let's see, 4 Colorverse inks. They were one of those special editions. I don't remember what it was called, but I have them. And you'll actually see one here in just a little bit. But I may have to go experiment with Martian. You know, I like the notion of Colorverse inks. I like love the bottles. I just haven't bought very many for who knows why. My next pen is an Aurora DuoCart. I was lucky I was able to get this one with the original box. It's not an original DuoCart from the 60s. This is a modern DuoCart, but when they first came out, they were, there we go. They were sold in the original boxes that were stored. Wow. See, it's late at night. It's almost 8 o'clock, or sorry, almost 9 o'clock my time, which, you know, we're talking bedtime here because I'm that boring. But anyway, the main thing with these pens is how do they write? Well, I enjoy this one a lot. I know it doesn't appear enough on Pens in Use. Part of the reason is I just have too many pens. Pens and Tea did a recent, ugh, that's blurry. Pens and Tea did a recent video where she talked about the new version of the Aurora DuoCart. And okay, I hate to do this, but I'm going to have to back up. If we're going to be blurry, this is just useless. It's not a close-up camera. And apparently, although it can focus close, it doesn't do a good job at it. All right, so Aurora DuoCart, and the ink in it is Aurora Blue Black. And just looking at the preview here, which is blurry again. So note to self, if I do another live stream where I'm actually writing, I will need to use a different camera. This is extremely disappointing, and I'm suddenly not thrilled that I started on this experiment, but it was an experiment, so I had to try it. See, it likes my hand. Other cameras, if you've got writing, they'll focus on it like that. Okay, so you're along for the ride where I take an experiment. So we're going to do this. We're going to do a close-up of all the other pens, and then I'm going to write with them. How about that? So this is my Salz Conqueror. This is a 1920s pen. It's actually not a wasn't a super expensive pen. I love this gold embedded in, it's maybe celluloid, probably. But then the nib Gerald Taylor says I nailed it. Tu parles français. See, I know a little bit. I actually never took French in high school. I took Spanish, took German in college. I've studied Polish and Chinese on my own, but never French. This is my Soviet EXC pen. I'm actually going to batch film a bunch of videos this weekend, so I won't bore you with the details, but this is one of that. This and the Salz are two of the pens I'm going to be filming this weekend. Here's another one I'll be filming this weekend. This is my Esterbrook SJ. That autofocus failed. There we go. Now we can see the lovely material that it's made out of. And this one has a fine relief nib. I'll be bringing up my Kaweco Dia 803/07. This is a pen from the 1930s. Kaweco actually used to make some really incredible pens. I know there's people that still collect Kawecos. I have a few modern Kawecos myself, but what I really love are these vintage ones. This is an oblique medium nib with definitely some line variation to it. This week I was using, instead of my normal Lamy 2000, I decided to ink up my Platinum Procyon, mainly as an excuse to use it, with black ink, and use this as my daily writer all week. Turns out this is actually a very nice daily writer. Doesn't replace the Lamy 2000 in my heart, but it certainly worked at trying. So let's continue this. I'm going to, since apparently I can, let's see if I can get really close to the page. Let's forget about showing the pen because I just did that. Okay, I like that. That is looking, other than the fact it's backwards on my screen, I think that's working very well. So let's see, I was at the Aurora DuoCart. Let's move on to the Salz Conqueror. And I do, let's see, the nib says extra fine, but that doesn't look like an extra fine. And I don't know what brand the nib is. I feel like it's not the native nib for this pen, but let's just see here what the ink is because I don't remember. Oh, Robert Oster Terracotta. Autofocus suddenly decided to hate everything. Okay. So if I'm going to be live streaming pen reviews, now I know I need a webcam that doesn't autofocus. Because this is really terrible. Robert Oster Terracotta. Okay, live YouTube, ladies and gentlemen. Ooh, look at that. We're bleeding the ink out. Yeah, that's not showing up. Now maybe it'll show up. Yeah, look at the puddle of ink on that nib. We're going to bleed some more ink out. So let's just dab it with a tissue here. There was quite the drop of ink there, whether you could see it or not. Trying not to get from that swipe any more of the color in. So Robert Oster tequila. Oh, geez. Sorry, terracotta. I don't know where the tequila came from. I don't even drink that stuff. Wow, that was awkward. Okay, so that's a Salz Conqueror. Let's bring in a nice communist pen. Jerry says the dark area to the right is confusing to autofocus. You've got a point. Let's see what this does. I also think it's confused by the nib. I know that's part of why I need to have writing on the page for the autofocus to work. But anyway, this is a Soviet. I don't actually know its full technical name, but I'm going to go with this. EXC. It's a 1980s pen. And I put a nice, oh yeah, Jerry is right. I think that's what the whole problem was. Maybe I don't need a pen with good autofocus. Oh, and I spoke too soon. If I have a paper clip to keep the page flat, well, let's see, I might. Where's my pen? There it is. Okay. So, let's try somewhere in the middle there. All right. So, anyway, Soviet pen. Soviet EXC. The ink in it. Ooh, that didn't help. Herbin. And I just put some fingerprints of ink down. Yeah, you know what, Jerry? I thought you had a good theory there. More of a binder clip on the spine. You may be right. Although I'm holding it with my fingers, so it's pretty flat right now. Oh, yeah, it likes my hand. I don't know. Herbin, Ambre. De Birmanie. Some of you may be saying, well, why didn't you try this before you filmed the video? And I'm thinking, right now, I am agreeing with you. This, I bought just a tiny little sample bottle. This actually turns out to be a very nice color. If I weren't desperate to get rid of my plethora of inks, I would be buying a bottle. Binder clip. Peter Katorchka says, I just bought this ink from Herbin last week. Beautiful. Yep, I agree. I don't know, I like it. The guy was right. The black side was confusing the autofocus. I think you're partly, oops, let's see, Sat Fan. I think that was partly the problem. The other thing that seems to be working is I'm holding with my hands, holding it down. That seems to be helping too. So let's see. Miss Jen Wingo suggests using a binder clip. Oh, no, I was wrong. Miss Jen Wingo suggests using a binder clip to help hold the spine. I think that will be part of it. And I think part of it's just going to be me learning to use the equipment. Let's see how this goes when I start writing. This is my, come on, there we go. What was I about to say? My Esterbrook. Okay, that made no sense. This is going to go down in flames. This is my Esterbrook SJ. The nib in it, I've got a... Ugh. So apologize for the horrific, too close to the page. You may be, I think you're right. And yet, weirdly enough, it can focus on my fingers, which are even closer. And then all of a sudden, the page is in focus. So that's kind of weird. And it's given me an idea. This is a weird idea, but let's just see what this weird idea does. Okay, so what I'm doing is I'm laying my cell phone down. That didn't seem to help. Oh. But maybe something more colorful. Let's see, what do I have here? Let's try laying a green index card here. Jerry suggests dimming the light on the page a little bit. I agree. Satfan suggests selling some of those pens and buy a decent camera. I don't actually have to sell the pens. I've got all well, not a lot of channel income, but enough channel income that I can actually justify it. I've been looking at a couple options for camera. Well, that was a fail of an experiment. But I can actually pay for a different camera out of channel income. So possibly. Not advertising for Bear and Fig here. Yeah, I wish this camera could be taken off autofocus. It can't. Yeah, if I do another live stream where I do close-ups like this, I will. Ooh, now Marilyn Darling has a good suggestion that might be looking for motion. That is certainly makes a lot of sense, because look at that. And when and sees nothing moving. All large solid colored areas will confuse autofocus. That's a good point. And we have a large solid colored area. Yeah, I am so disappointed with this live stream experiment. I think it was worth doing. Kelly Beard says, dang it, I'm late. Yeah, honestly, by this quality, I don't think you're missing much. Looks for skin tones. Yeah, you know, it is a webcam. The one I'm looking at, and I thought, oh, I don't know if I need that, is actually designed for more industrial applications. And that may be what I just need to do, is bite the bullet and buy the thing. Like I said, I'm just putting channel advertising money towards it. Okay, Peter Katorchka says, episode 1, autofocus not in use. Yeah, I wish I could turn it off. My regular camcorder that I normally use, I can. This one I cannot. So I'm clicking off. So if anybody's commenting right now, I don't see it. I got to look because I couldn't remember the number for the nib. 9314, fine. And this is a relief fine nib. The ink in it is Colorverse. Interstellar Space. This is a very wet nib. I will say I had an Esterbrook SD a couple of weeks ago. I put the fine nib, or not the fine, one of the flex nibs in it. And wow, what a disappointment. It, flexed all right, just didn't really work very well. Can I aim the light off to the side a little? Let's try this. Okay, that didn't help. Let's try this one. I can't tell if that helped or not. Marilyn Darling says, I love Colorverse, right after she retracted a comment. I'm trying to shade one of the lights. Actually, I'm shading several lights here. I don't know. I should not have done this. I probably should have just recorded a regular video and just... Except I know I'm going to be somewhere tomorrow, so... Oops. All right, so I've been saving that channel money. I think this is what I'm saving it for. You know, I've always dedicated the money toward improvements for the channel. The tripod I'm actually using for this is one of the things. The camera recording this is one of the things I've spent channel income on. It's all advertising dollars. I think I'm going to spend a little bit of money on a different camera. Where's that index card I was using? Not helping, is it? Yeah, this has just been a super disappointment. So I apologize for everybody watching. Peter Katorchka says he's using Sailor inks almost exclusively. Tokiwa Matsu is great. I've never used it. And Marilyn, you are right. It as soon as I lay my hand down, it's happy. So I think because this is a webcam designed specifically for, you know, live streaming, it's trained to look for skin tones. Now it does make me wonder, and I'm, you know, don't judge me for making this comment, but it makes me wonder, what would it do for people that aren't Caucasian like I am? Does it like all skin tones, or does it favor certain ones? This is the most skin tone looking book I could see right here by my shelves. Let's try this plain gray one. Is there a white balance? There are no settings. This is a totally automatic camera. It's searching for a fate. Oh. Okay, that is a neat suggestion. I got to try it. Sailor Grenade is tops? Yes. Okay, we've given you a face there, camera. Maybe I should put my new driver's license down here. I've got, I do have one of those, thanks to a trip to Dickinson I took today. See, I was hoping my Carl Sagan book would have a picture of Carl Sagan on it, but it doesn't. Culture code. Oh, why don't I have any books sitting right here that have a picture of an author on them? Oh, here we go. There. Person. Come on, autofocus. Focus on David Allen. Okay, I give up. All right, let's just get through this, and I promise the next time I try to do a close-up, I'll have this resolved one way or the other. So, where are we at? Disappointing everybody with this horrible live stream. Esterbrook, oops, I skipped a pen. No! So this here is my Kaweco Dia, which is kind of a pocket pen, 1930s. Yeah, that didn't help either. I was hoping maybe if I laid my hand here, it would help with the autofocus, but that's not helping either. Has an oblique medium nib. And the ink in it is Callifolio. Just got to look real quick on my Evernote because I forgot which one is in it. Bourgogne. Which I like. It's sort of an off color, but I do like it. Let's see. Who am I looking at here? I kind of lost track of where it's at. Yep, you're right. It knew that wasn't a human. Rene Perron, I put white paper to cover the dark table. Do I have white paper? Okay, I've got white paper on one side. I'll grab another white paper. This is somebody's letter, but we'll just hide the letter part. Other than it keeps readjusting, that's better. Skin. Okay, at this point, I'm just ready to get through this and write this off as a complete embarrassment. Where am I at? Peter Katorchka, well, it's legible, so yeah, we got that. Hey, and at least you'll be able to look at the photograph and get something out of this. Platinum Procyon. I used it this week as an experiment. I just decided to use this as my daily writer. I don't know why. I just all of a sudden got that urge and seemed to work out decently. She still sees some of the dark table on the right. Of course, my left and right are totally backwards. Everything's backwards, actually, for mine. Yeah, still not happy. Platinum Procyon. Okay, let's just get this over with. Well, that's better. This is Rohrer and Klingner. Leipziger Schwarz. Which is French for Leipzig, or German, wow, for Leipzig Black. It's sort of a blue-black into my eyes, and I'm told it has a sheen, but I think I need to have it on better paper than I've used it on. Not that this is bad paper, but just not this paper necessarily. Can I cover the bookmark to the right? How about that? It is French for German is easy. Okay. Well, don't know if covering the bookmark helped, but you know what? Until I get this issue solved, I'm not going to try doing a close-up ever again. And finally, Lamy 2000, which is my normal daily writer. Fine point. This has Pelican 4001. Brilliant Black. All right, so I'm going to just pause here a second, use my cell phone, get this on the Evernote page, and forget this whole debacle ever happened. Oops, get rid of that paper clip here. I'm going to forget this whole debacle ever happened, other than the whole thing where I've got to learn from it, because definitely this was a learning experience. And I will just say this. Yeah, this was awful, and I'm really embarrassed. But you can't improve unless you try new things and you take some risks. So don't be afraid to take risks, even though you may look like a dumbass like I do right now. I'm still getting used to, I updated to iOS, what is this, 13? The app is just a bugger to get used to. So I'm going to try and put page real quick, but what was I saying? Anyway, don't be afraid to try something out, try something new, because you can't learn, you can't improve unless you actually do try something new. So I have actually just tried something new. I learned it was a failure, but you know what? If I wouldn't have tried it, I wouldn't have known it was a failure, and I wouldn't have any direction. Sorry, this is the teacher in me now talking, but I wouldn't have any direction for figuring out what do I do next to make this actually work. So all in all, I think it was a worthwhile experiment. So Evernote, it may take a minute or two to sync, but Evernote now has the extra pictures. Before I turn the camera back to my face, which wasn't as much of a failure, I wanted to show you one or two other little things. So let's just see if I missed any comments here. Let's just throw this out of the way, because it seems to like my desk. You can see my hand under it or something. Let's see. Renee Perron, wow, lots of learning. Makes me appreciate you all the more. See how much trouble this could be. Yeah, tonight was a lot of trouble, especially because somebody's not a night person. Franz Sturman's funny show, maybe not how you planned it, but it is a unique. Yeah, definitely didn't plan on it going this way. I thought, hey, I've got the solution. And Jerry says it is legible. Peter Katorchka says it was fun. Marilyn, you're a brilliant scientist. At least you tried. Yeah, I did try. I will give myself credit for that. Sailcat, worthwhile. And Jerry 550, the advantage of live over pre-recorded where everything is perfect. I don't know if that was an advantage. So I went to Dickinson today because I had a day off from school, and I've needed to get a new license, driver's license. There's some new requirements if you want to fly, and my parents live in Pennsylvania, so flying is how I would visit them. And so I had to get the new, now I forget its name, it's too late at night. But anyway, the new type of license where you've got that, you have to bring in your birth certificate and a whole bunch of junk. Real ID, thank you, Jerry. And so I drove up to Dickinson, which is 90 miles away, yay, and to get the driver's license. It took me about 5 minutes to get the driver's license, but let's not count the hour or so I waited in line. Now I know, arrange an appointment ahead of time. I didn't even know that was a thing. Usually I get my driver's license here in my small town because the DMV visits my small town once a month. But I wasn't able to do it over the summer, which is when I would usually do it. So, and of course, I'm teaching when they're here, so I can't get to it. So I thought, hey, day off, and I'm not going to get another one of them where I can get to the DMV until December. So I thought, let's take care of it. Well, I was also going to do a Pens on the Road instead of this live stream thing, but by the time I was done waiting, I was so not in the mood to do a Pens on the Road and show you Dickinson that I didn't get around to it. But anyway, in the strip mall where the DMV was, I decided to wander afterwards because I was kind of fuming, and I found this thing. It was the only pen in there. Well, there was a ballpoint, but you know, we don't do those on this channel. So anyway, it's not in real good shape. You're seeing it exactly as it was when I got it at the store. And I'm kind of sad that they did this whole Scotch tape thing. You can't read the price, but it's $7.99. So that's what I paid for it. Haven't tried taking it off yet. Maybe I'll just do that right now. I mean, there's going to be residue here. I know cleaning off the Scotch tape residue is something I'm going to have to deal with. And I'm just thinking, why in an antique store would you put flippin' Scotch tape on something you're trying to sell? It's coming off cleanly. So there is that. I'm impressed by how that's coming off. But why in hell would you put Scotch tape on something when you, yeah, and there we go. And the price tag, of course, is going to be a bugger to get off, so I may have to do that later. But it just seems like we're ruining it. I mean, can we like do a string tag or something? So what I'm trying to get at here is I'm trying to see what brand this is, and I'll show you the nib. The nib, spoilers, is not one I'm particularly excited about, but the pen is okay. I was trying to figure out the brand Tylo, unless there's something under this price tag. Oh, Jerry says it takes all day at the DMV. Hey, Dickinson. I'm not going to give Jerry's location away, but let's just say Jerry lives somewhere quite a lot larger than Dickinson, North Dakota. So there is that, you know, so I'm whining, but it is North Dakota after all. So my life is probably a little easier than those of you who live in cities. But anyway, it says Tylo. There may be more before the Tylo. Looks like this has had some trouble. Hello, an ink guy. And what's this? Yes, let's see if autofocus will pick this. Oh, yeah, we'll pick this up, but not the writing. It does have a glass nib, which isn't my favorite, but they're unique. This lever. Oh, let's put that near the microphone so you can hear it. Yep. So we'll be doing a sack replacement and I don't know, something to deal with that finish on the pen. So upcoming project. Marilyn Darling says here in California, if you start at 9 a.m., you're lucky to see somebody by 5 p.m. It's off. Oh my God. So yeah, I did get off pretty lightly, I guess. And I got something else in the mail I thought I would show you. This person said he was going to send me a couple of ink samples. And since it was a private communication, I won't share their name, but he knows who he is. Oh my God, that's definitely more than a couple of ink samples. So, you know, some of the brands in there, definitely a lot of Krishna inks, which I've wanted to experiment with them, and I guess I've got my chance now. More Krishna than I know what to do with, but I get to try to see if anything in here is not Krishna. Yeah, all these are Krishnas. Holy buckets. Yeah, everything you see here is Krishna. And then this is something else he included. Don't know anything about it. Ink Crib from Singapore. Buy ink, for ink lovers, buy ink lovers. Test your inks here. Looks like magazine paper, but you know, cardboardy, so that'll be interesting. Brand I've never heard of. So Elixir ink from Singapore. There's a YouTuber named Tio I follow who is from Singapore. So Elixir River Safari, Elixir Siloso Sunset. Sorry, autofocus. And what are you? Elixir Midnight Marina. So guess what may be showing up in videos for the next few weeks? A lot of Krishna inks and this one. I'm probably going to be a little bit careful with my vintage pens, but I also have a number of Indian and Chinese pens that were sent to me by a viewer. Again, it was private communication, so I won't mention their name. But I'll feel safer using these and those pens rather than my vintage pens because I just don't know a lot about Krishna inks. But wow. And since I'm here, I thought I would share a couple of other upcoming projects before you see my face again. I bought another Soviet pen. Actually, I bought it quite a while back. I haven't really done anything with it yet. I haven't had time, but I think I have time now. Nope, that's not the one I'm thinking of. I mean, not amazing. Probably needs to be cleaned out, needs to be tested. I haven't... Okay, the piston works. I don't know if it draws water or ink or anything, but that'll be something to try out. I'll have to remind myself how to pronounce Russian. Although that mark, that's not Russian, is it? Maybe one of you knows. I feel like that's not Russian. So I don't think Russian uses any diacritical marks. I know I bought a pen from Budapest. Maybe that's it. Peter Katorchka says seagull. Cheka. Oh, C-H-A-I-K-A. Okay, Cheka. Seagull. And is that Russian? Okay, moving on. I have a Centro pen that will come up one time soon, 1370. Oops, must be a screw. Maybe it's not a screw cap. Maybe it is a slip cap. Yep, it's a slip cap. So a Centro pen, and Peter Katorchka says, yes, it is Russian. Okay. I guess I've never seen that in Russian writing before. So this is Czechoslovakian, although Centro pen still exists. It's now in the Czech Republic, but at the time this was made, this would have been Czechoslovakian. I'm pretty sure that's a steel nib. And I feel like this is one of those pens that may require a little, let's see, yeah, a little work before I can get it writing. I have this pen, also a Centro pen, a 10010. I have a far more decorative model, which when I finally get around to it, I'll have to show you. I think I've reviewed it. With a hooded nib. Peter Katorchka is from Czechoslovakia, born it when it actually was still Czechoslovakia. And Jerry says maybe stylized text for the box. Yeah, it could be. I have no idea. This is pretty common converter type, although it's built in. I'm wondering, just looking at that, how well this is going to draw ink. I feel like this one's going to need some work. We'll find out. These have been sitting because I just haven't had time to deal with them. And yes, the original pen was black. So I'm guessing this is ebonite. I have a Pevdy. I'm trying to remember where Pevdy is from. And I'm drawing a complete blank. But when I take the pen out, dang, if that doesn't look just like, well, sort of like a Parker 45. And definitely we've got this thing going on. So I have to look at my notes. I don't actually remember where this pen is from. Unscrew it, it's... Okay, somebody made a little trip. I hope you can pick this up here. We've got a Parker aerometric converter in this Pevdy. So that's interesting, and it fits. So I'll have to look up where this pen is from. I know I have it in my notes because I take these notes when I buy the darn things. So I don't forget, which I just did live, but I also wasn't planning to show you all these. I just kind of did it on the spur of the moment. And I've got one other surprise, but let's just show you some cheapies. Jinhao. I bought a few Jinhaos for upcoming Fountain Pen Day as giveaways. Yes, I get to sing Baby Shark again. Only these are the ones with the open nibs. So yeah, bought a few Jinhao sharks. I'm going to have to do a first impression of them before I give it away. I bought some Jinhao swans. Oh, so Peter Katorchka says, without the accent at his eye, pronounced like in big, which is how I thought it was. I'd never heard the accent, so learned something. But then again, I don't know Russian, so there is that. Jinhao swan. So I'll have to do a first impression of one of these before Fountain Pen Day. I'll film it anyway, you know, whether it ends up being broadcast, because one of my goals for this break is to film a whole bunch of videos. And then I have, did I get the same type or did I get hooded nibs? Anyway, more swans. Okay, same type. These were cheap. That's why I bought so many. And I have a number of pens that were given to me. So together, I think I'll have enough pens to give away. Got a lot more students this year than I've ever had in years. Our enrollment has dropped for years here. And now our enrollment, the big classes, because our elementary was growing, the big classes are getting to the high school. So it's going up again. Okay, another one that's the same deal. All right. So I think this will be fun. So I've got 24 sharks, 24 swans, and then some other stuff to give away. And then this pen, which there must be more to it, right? Oh, let's just show you this to delay the moment. Techno Export Central Pen 37770. I actually have a Kaweco. I think my Kaweco V14S has a similar nib, but gold. And finally, no delaying it anymore, this vintage case. So Rex pen. So we're going behind the Iron Curtain. It comes with a pencil. It takes 2mm lead. So this is a Rex pen 25. I don't think there's there is lead in it. How about that? That looks like I took mechanical drawing in high school. Honest to God, that's exactly what I'm thinking of as I look at this. I mean, I remember the same clutch mechanism and the same thick lead, and we had a special sharpener we had to use for that. I wonder if that's what that's for. I don't know, but I wonder. One of these is a fountain pen. I don't remember which one. This is a Rex pen Flowmaster 600. Okay, this is not the fountain pen. I don't know what that is really. It looks like a felt tip. Jerry says, wow, 22 people still watching despite the focus issues. Jerry says, I just lost my line. I apologize. Swans and sharks are great. He eyedroppered a swan with Bay State blue. Starts right up. That is good to know. Okay, interesting. This looks like a felt tip. Ooh. So Peter Katorchka, got to check that out. Peter Katorchka just told me the sharpener was in the release button, at least in pencils I used back then. Okay, release button does not want to come out. And it's smallish. Yeah, it doesn't want to come out. Okay, it does unscrew here. Oh, wow. Okay, that's why it doesn't want to come out. So, you may be right that it was in the release button, but not on this pen. And finally, the one we've been waiting for. This is a Rex Pen 1748. I reviewed a Reform 1745 a long time ago. One of my first vintage reviews, actually. I'll have to find that. Yeah, an eraser under the button. Not in this pencil. But this is actually what I bought the whole set for. And yeah, this may be upside down. One of those wonderful Reform nibs that I like so well. Probably a little cleaning necessary, but look how smoothly that puppy operates. Oh, you can't tell. Oh, come on. I'm hating the autofocus. Yeah, that's operating very smoothly. I feel like I have pens like this, but not a Rex pen, so I'm excited. Marilyn says, you know you're going to have to review all these again, LOL. Probably. So let's flip this up to my face again. So I have nothing more to show you. Taking full advantage of the couple of days off here. So those are the pens and inks that I've been using this week. I apologize for the autofocus issue. See, I'm looking at my preview. It's definitely showing me in focus, even though I'm not really looking at the camera, which is bad. And you can tell my hair's messed up. But yeah, I'm not impressed by the autofocus in this camera for writing samples. So I've earmarked the money I get from the advertising on this channel for channel improvements. So I think a live stream writing camera is something I could justify. So I'm going to research that a little bit. I've actually been researching it a bit. I just didn't think I needed it. Whoops. So yeah, I will hopefully have something better soon if I'm going to continue doing this, because this was a fail. I like this camera a lot for right now. I think it is awesome. I think I'm looking at my face again. I think it does a good job showing me just how, my face, and just not so much for the writing samples. So I'll be looking for something with a more manual focus, possibly manual exposure, maybe manual white balance settings for the writing samples. This is very good. In fact, the audio on this is good too, except you're listening to my normal microphone, but the audio on this is very good. Peter, sorry, the computer is like far enough away I have trouble reading it, so I can't look at the camera. Peter Katorchka says, smooth operation may be a bad sign in such an old pen. Piston can BR from cork, and when dries out, it is smaller and it operates easily. He's actually not wrong, although I don't know what BR means. It's short for something. But I will say this. I bought this pen from myoberpens.com. The rest of these I did not buy from myoberpens.com, and I think he's right about the formerly black Centro pen. But myoberpens.com fully restores their pens, and so I'm pretty sure it will work just fine. I have a lot of confidence in myoberpens.com. That reminds me, I'm going to get up. I'll be right back. Sorry. You might remember that I was kind of excited about payday finally arriving. So I bought a couple of pens on myoberpens.com. That was one of them. You saw the Concord, which they sent me kind of complimentary. This is a Reform 4383. Let's just do this because I don't want to flip the camera around again. Very excited to write with that pen. And the nib, I don't know if you can see this real well. Oh my God, this is horrible. Yeah, you can't see it. You'll just have to trust me. But this is a interesting nib, and the pen has an interesting shape. And finally, Peter Katorchka, 5:49 a.m. Yeah, actually, 5:49 a.m. I mean, I'm usually up by then. Probably won't be tomorrow because what time is it now? Almost 10 o'clock. But, I'm often up by then. Let's see. Jerry says it could be really stark lighting rather than the autofocus. That's possible. The lights do have shading on them, except for one of them. But taking the one off didn't really make a difference, so... let's see. Marilyn says that's nice. Yeah, probably nice. Soviet era. Yeah, these are all pretty much Soviet era. So here's another one. This is a Kaweco. What is it? God, I can't read it. Kaweco V101 extra fine. Another one I'm very excited about. And I know some of you are looking and say, oh, slim black pen, boring. But I love them. And Kaweco made such nice pens. And this one also has a bit of flex, which others with nibs like that do not have. So that's another one. Like I said, I'm going to batch film a bunch of videos this weekend. I thought I'd get to some more tomorrow, but I'm not sure. I'm going to a cross-country meetup in Stanley tomorrow to take pictures for yearbook and for the paper. That's 3.5 hours north, 3.5 hours back. So, there goes 6 hours out of my day. But I'll probably be in a better mood than I was after the Department of Motor Vehicles. So there is that. Let's see. Peter Katorchka. Sorry, can't read it. Yeah, 5:49, not that bad, but I'm on my night shifts already 12 hours awake. Oh, my God. Yeah, I'm glad I'm a teacher. I don't have a night shift. I suppose I could adapt. I mean, people do, but I'm not a night person. I'm looking at this 10 o'clock thinking, why am I doing this? Why didn't I just film it quickly, get it over with, edit it, and just upload it in the morning? But then I remembered because I'm leaving early in the morning to go to Stanley. So I hate to do this, but I'm going to close this off. Peter, I can't read stuff. Peter Paleo, something like that, says, enjoying our hobby with Waski. So I want to thank you all for joining me. I did have 26 people join in. I apologize for the autofocus. I promise before I do this again, I will research cameras. I may have software already installed. I need to learn how to use it, but I think I have software already installed that will allow me to live stream. Possibly use this one for my face and then switch. Books are a reason says, sorry I'm late. Did you talk about Apache Sunset and Shoreline Gold? I just remembered that I have a note that I was supposed to do that. So no, I did not, and I apologize. I totally forgot. I won't make any excuses, but I will write myself on the blank page facing this. I'm writing myself a note right now. Compare Apache Sunset, Shoreline Gold, and what was the other one I had with that? Oh, Autumn Oak. So just to reassure you, this is the blank page. There will be pens in use next week. Here is my note. So even if I totally forget, I'll sit down to film this and I'll say, oh, shoot. And I'm pretty sure next week's is going to be filmed ahead of time. So yeah, the oh shoot will get edited out. You won't see it. You'll never know I forgot. And I'll just smoothly inject it into the video and it will all work. So it is there to remind me. Brindle Andrew says, nothing to apologize about. Enjoy the spontaneity. Yeah, when you do a live stream, it's definitely spontaneous. Peter Paleo says he bought a Stipula Flex that flexes about as much as a railroad spike. Possibly my most regretted buy. Yep, I will admit. Not too impressed with T-Flex. And I know they experimented a few years ago with another flex nib that was steel, and I heard bad things about it, and I was glad I never bought one. And did I learn the lesson with T-Flex? Oh, no. But I bought it from a retailer in Malaysia, which that was interesting. So there was that. Books are awesome. Thank you. Looking forward to it. Always NBD, whatever that means. Just curious. Matthew Bedeau, missed the start again. That is okay. Yes, I am well. Tired. I definitely need to go to bed because I got to be up early tomorrow to drive to Stanley and should be working on that. And this was kind of a spontaneous. I thought it would save me time, but by now I'd be done editing and off to bed anyway. So, whoops. See, I talk too much when I live stream. When I record them, I can edit out my babbling and my experiments and my false starts, and can't do that with live. Marilyn says, this was fun. Have a good night. I'm going to bed too. Yeah. So I got to wish you all a good night because I do want to get up tomorrow morning. I do not want to oversleep because thanks to weather, including snow, I have missed every cross-country meet so far because they've canceled everyone I've been able to be at or postponed them to times when I couldn't be at them. So got to get to this one. So because the season's almost over. Sailcat, I was glad to have you too. Thanks for the fun time. So yeah, I'll be recording that drive. I'm kind of excited because I'll be going up through the Killdeer Mountains. Yeah, mountains in North Dakota. Well, you'll see if when I finally upload that driving footage. But Killdeer Mountains, Mandaree, which is on the reservation, Newtown, also on the reservation, and Stanley, which I haven't seen since before the oil boom. So that could be interesting also. So I want to thank you all for watching. And if videos like this interest you, or see, I'll get something right tonight. Videos like this interest you, where I talk about fountain pens, both new and old, and at all price points, I would invite you to subscribe. And in light of the disastrous writing sample tonight, do you have a webcam you would recommend where I can actually control the focus, the exposure, and so on? I would definitely invite suggestions in the comments down below because I've got my list narrowed down, but I want to hear what other people use and what people suggest. This is a Logitech, I don't know what, Logitech anyway, HD 1080p. Oh, yeah, 1080p. But I would love to hear what suggestions you have. So I want to thank you all for watching. We'll see you later. Bye-bye. This is an awkward way to end it.